Well, hello everyone. This is Robin Carter, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I'm here to share my second set of alternatives using the March 2024 paper pumpkin kit named Memorable Meadows. So before we begin, I have a little surprise for you. I have finally decided to get brave and show my face. Ta-da! So my friends have been encouraging me to do a video where you can actually see me. Thought it would make me a little more personable, and rather than just seeing my hands, you could see me. So I also have one more surprise. So my kitty cat is right here in his little chair sleeping, and I'm going to disturb him and pick him up so you can meet Coco. I've mentioned in my videos a couple times, if you hear something, that's my cat jumping up on my computer desk or scratching his paw. So let me get him. Oh, poor Coco. He was sleeping hard. So this is Coco. He is a Himalayan Persian, and he's my crafting buddy, aren't you? And so he is the king of the house. So he lets us know when he's not happy. He's a very talkative cat as well. But anyway, thought you would like to meet Coco, and let's put him back down to sleep. And then we can get started with our video. But before we begin, thank those of you who have subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it. And if you're brand new to my channel, or maybe you've seen a few but have yet to subscribe, I would really appreciate if you would hit the subscribe button below. I have set a hefty goal for myself this year. I hope to double my subscribers and reach 5,000. So if you can help be a part of that, I would truly appreciate it. And I'm going to switch cameras. I got to look at my computer here to switch, and we will get back to it. Okay, so here I am, back face down camera. So we can get started with our alternatives. Now I've done a little bit of pre-cutting, but we're going to use this card base today. So, it comes double-sided, which is great because I'm going to be able to get 4 cards out of one card base. So I have already pre-cut this. So where you want to first start is cut this in half right at the score line. And if your blade isn't real sharp, you need to get a sharp one or it may fray. Or you can go just off the side of the score line if that helps you. Then we want to cut one of them to 2 5/8. Okay, and then the other one, it doesn't matter what it ends up being. So it depends if you cut off the score line, that'll work fine. So just keep in mind which one is which. And I'm going to put these supplies away so we can get started with our alternatives. I'm going to start with the bigger piece first. So what you're going to need is a thick white card base. And by the way, you see all these things that I'm using to store my goodies in. There's these 5x7. These are like 7x9 is the description with a filter to 10. And they hold all my paper pumpkin goodies. If you're new to my channel, I got to tell you that these are what I call my favorite things. Those of you that have watched me, I know you've heard this 100 times, but I have to always remind in case you're new. These are my favorite things, and they are links to where you can purchase those in the video description of this box. Just look for the video and click more, and down below there will be descriptions about this video, and then at the bottom we'll have my favorite things. So if I mentioned they're my favorite things, those will be in the links below. I am an Amazon affiliate, so when you use those links, which are safe because they're provided by Amazon, if you use those links to purchase those products, I get a few pennies back at no cost to you. So thank you to those who have used those before, and if you plan on using them in the future. So let's get this adhered to our card base. This is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and I did use the quatrefoil embossing folder. And let me just give you a little tip for that folder. It's one of my favorite, and it's on the retiring list. And you know what? I didn't feel to see which side was bigger, and it's the other side. But let's see. If I have another one, I'll change it. I do. I have another one. So we'll use that for something else. I want this to be pretty, so be able to see if there's one side, and it's this one. See, I didn't remind you guys, so I forgot to do it as well. So let's adhere that here. So here's a little tip on the embossing folder. This is the quatrefoil tile, and its item number is 158655. So I'll show you with this. As you can see, I embossed this one by sticking it in the folder this way, just because of the little design on it. Now, if you're going to do a vertical card, you may want to run it this way. It just depends if you have a preference of which pattern you like to see. So I just tend to like it that way. So just keep in mind which direction your paper is going when you run it through that folder. Oh, and you know what? Let's see if I can get this up real quick because I forgot to do ribbon. Being real careful. And, yes. Boy, I have messed this one up, huh? But it shows you we all mess up, and I just embrace them, and that way you know I'm not perfect either. You too can be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, which I would love to have you as part of my team. But I'm looking for my silicone mat so it doesn't stick. I'll just get a scrap piece of paper like this cardstock. All right, we want to adhere this first, not your emboss layer to your card base, because I want to add some ribbon. I'm not using my fine tip glue bottle, that would just whatever I grab there. So we want to adhere this first, and I love the multi-purpose glue because it helps me wiggle it around. Okay, it's not going to stick too bad to my grid paper now. But that's not sticking. Okay. I'm a sticky mess now. Okay, and then I want to use some ribbon. So I've brought in this Night of Navy ribbon, and the item number is 160581. It's nice and easy to work with. It creates good bows, but I'm just going to put a bit here on the side. Now I've had this ATG gun forever, and I like to just use it there. And I've got a sticky mess. We'll get this back on our card base in a minute and it won't be so bad. Then I use my grid paper here to help me try to get my ribbon straight. And I just go along like that. And get my scissors. And then I can curve it around the back. Okay, and now we can put this back on our card base. It looks icky, but no one's going to know we made that boo-boo. So, well, maybe I have to get my fine tip glue bottle. That one bottle is kind of empty, probably because I just filled this thing up good and full. So I like this because it helps me control the amount of glue. Too much glue is not a good thing. It can make your paper too wet and ooze out all over the place. Okay, that's better. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, so that's our basic scene, but of course we need more to it. So I thought I would bring in the big flower that we received as a bonus stamp set in this kit. In March, they give us something extra, and we got an extra stamp set this time. By the way, if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber of mine, and you've purchased your Paper Pumpkin through me, then you will receive 2 sleeves this time to store your stamps in. Now, this is the little artwork in your kit, and I just put those on the bottom, store my stamps between those two. For one thing, that helps keep them out of light, which you're supposed to do for photopolymer stamps. And then you also get a 1-inch square of the coordinating cardstock for your ink spot. That way you can store it on the bottom with the name of it, and you can store your ink spots upside down so that your ink is on top, much like our full-size pads. So let me get out my Stamparatus. Now the Stamparatus Stampin' Up! Is no longer able to sell, but it's still my favorite, so I continue to use it. I do have a link to the Misty in my favorite things because you can't purchase this, and a Misty is another stamp positioning tool that works great and would work just the same way. So, as I said, I have a scan and cut. So I have a bunch of these already cut. I have the little flowers, and the big flower. And you know what? We're going to need the little flower for our next card. I'm just going to go ahead and ink up both for this time, and make sure your deluxe mat is in the corner. And then I'm going to get my Memento ink and the card out of the way so I don't get Memento ink all over it. Okay, just ink it up well. And then switch it over. Okay, now I have considered, I wonder how many of you would be interested in purchasing negative white pieces. Of course, I cannot pre-stamp them for you. That's not allowed. But if you are a subscriber of mine and this is something that you would be interested in purchasing, let me know and I'll see what we can work out on that. If you do have a scan and cut and you're a subscriber of mine, I can send you the file. That's easy to do, the cut file. It does not work for the Cricut. So if you're thinking, oh, I got a Cricut, that'll work. It's a different type of file than the Cricut. So it won't work for that. But anyway, I just thought, been talking with one of my downlines, and she's like, you know what, maybe you should offer that. So if you're a subscriber and you have one, I can easily send you the file. If you're a subscriber and do not have a scan and cut, let me know if you think this would be something you would be interested in. Okay, I also have a tip to share. So I should have restamped that. Do you see how that's kind of not filled in? I do have a black marker, and you can just fill that in just like that. And looks like you didn't unstamp that, but I need to smooth it out a little more. The new pencils have a better pen tip. This one is very, very fine. So I don't have the new one yet. But anyway, here is our flower. And I need to leave out my stamparatus because I need to color the flower. Now, it had a full fill-in leaf stamp, which I have over here. So make sure that's in the corner. Stick this back in my negative. All right, and then I'm going to use Greeny Apple Green. There it is. Okay, this is my full-size pad. And I forgot to take note of the yellow pieces. So let me clean that off. And then these are the yellow centers of the flower. So I'm going to ink those in Daffodil Delight. And then close it. Smash. I can see I may need to do my Granny Apple again. It kind of puddled up. So if you have a lot of puddling, like here, there's two things you can do. You could get a blender pen, or you could just blend marker. Oh, that's not Granny Apple Green. Or you could just, the best thing to do is ink it with Versamark first, and then your ink, and then stamp it. But you know what? Leaves are different. They're not all solid. They have different things on them. So I'm going to let that go. I may just try one more time. I think it did get all the ink. So there is our leaf and our flower. I'm going to leave this flower white because the flowers on this card base are white. Okay, and then we need to do a sentiment. Check my little envelope for my goodies. Okay, so I have pre-cut some labels. Now let me share that if you really like this label right here that came in our kit, there are some dies that are available that cut a shape much like that, and those are the Something Fancy dies. These right here, they're a little different, a little more curved there, and a longer top. They don't circle up like that one does. So anyway, those are a good option if you really like that label and need some more to use that one. But for this label, I've actually used this one here in the middle. So they are nesting but I cut the smallest one. I think it'll fit the birthday sentiment. And I'm going to show you better what I do when I have dies. I do the same type of method I do with my flower and such. So I'm going to get out my Stamparatus. Now on this plate, you can see I've used the flowers, 1 sentiment, and the fill-in flower. But so I need to find one that has a blank space like right here. And I just take my stamp. This is the birthday one. I'm going to put it on my grid sheet. And I'm trying to line up the birthday there that's straight with a line. Okay, so you pick that up. Get out your memento. You don't have to get a good inking. You just want to see where it goes. I put it directly on my mat. Make sure it's in the corner. And then I take the negative that I cut my die with, this side. And even though this is crooked, you can line it up with the lines of your grid paper. Make sure you have a straight cut. So I think that's about right. I can see here that that line is good. My sentiment looks centered. So then I just tape it down. Now you can use washi or Scotch tape. You just don't want it to move because that's going to be where you put your die. If it bothers you to have a black on the bottom, then you can get rid of that with a damp paper towel. So let's go in and stamp our sentiment. This time I want to make sure I get it good and inked. If you're having trouble inking your stamps, you could first tap them with Versamark ink. That would help get a solid image. But the good thing about using a stamp positioning tool is you can do it a second time if it's not how you like it. I'm going to do it one more time so it's nice and dark. I may need to re-ink my memento soon. There's a fine line between inked enough and too inky. Okay, I like that better, so we're going to go with that sentiment. Stuff out of the way. So now I can just go in and stamp and stamp and stamp because I cut those ahead of time. All right, and so let's finish up this card. We're going to put the sentiment here, or let me see where I want to do it. I don't want to cover that up. Let's put it here, and I'm going to glue it flat down. And we're going to put our flower up with dimensionals. Okay, my dimensionals. I'm going to cut another row in half. I just use halves of the big one. I still use plenty, so it's supported. I go through enough on using these. Okay, and then I want one kind of here holding up the stem. And we'll put one more here. That should be sufficient. Just going to turn it this way. There, I like that. So the only thing, you might want to finish it out with some embellishments. Now, they did have some in our kit, but these are some that go with the Garden Meadow Suite, which is a coordinating product for this stamp set. They're called adhesive backed dragonflies and birds. So I'm just going to grab a little dragonfly here. I'm going to get the blue dot as well. And let's just put him in the sky up here. Just a little bling to add to this card. So this is the first alternative. Let me clean up, and we need to get out the second half that we cut earlier and work on it. So what do you guys think? You like that alternative? But you're going to really like the next one. It's my favorite. So what you're going to need is that other piece. Of course, a thick white card base. Okay. No embossing folder. Can you believe it? I didn't use an embossing folder. I'm feeling for which side. That one has a mark on it. Let's just grab a new one, because that might show since this doesn't cover up the whole card. And I can use that one on another one. Okay, that is the front, so I'm going to put it that way. Then I brought in the radiating stitched dies, and I'm looking for those. I can show you the whole set. These were an online exclusive item, which just means they're not in any publication. So they are right here. And so they nest well. And I used these in the last Christmas set we had, and I made a frame. So that's why I have these two taped together. And I just decided to leave them that way, so that when I cut the big frame, it cuts out the center. So you'll need, this is in Gorgeous Grape. It's the largest of the radiating dies. Now it does cut out this center, and that's what I used for getting the dimensions for this piece, as well as a layering white piece to help it pop. So I made it basically 1/4 of an inch bigger. So this is 4 1/4, this matting piece, by 2 7/8, which is why our one we cut at first is 4 by 2 5/8. So that'll fit nicely there. So let's adhere that down. I'm going to bring my pierce mat just so I can see where I'm centering it. Got a little hump here because I cut it right on the score line. I'm going to take my nail and flatten it down. I could use my bone folder, but I should have done that before I did glue. Alright, so center that on your white piece, and that's why I like using the multi-purpose glue. It gives you wiggle room to get it centered. Okay, then we're going to adhere this, while that dries a little bit, to our card front. Now, since it has the little cutout pieces here, I'm not going to use liquid glue. You could use glue dots, but I have some tape runner that I've had for ages in my ATG gun. So I'm just going to pull it out again. All right, and now I'm going to work on centering it. So let me get this out so I can see white. I flipped it so I could see the back of that cardstock. Okay, I think that looks good. All right, and now we can put this on, but I want to do this with dimensionals to give it some interest. Lots of backings to take off and have a little pile over here. All right, and get that centered up best I can. Okay, now you can use the strip that came with the kit. I may do that this time. If you need more, you can obviously cut little strips of paper. And I have it where I can use my stamper reference. Now, I've run out of grid sheet juice. This is from the first alternative. You can see I use it well. And I've already lined it up using the grid sheet. So I do have the black piece that it came with. All right. I think I have to actually flip it. Let me find my plate that has the sentiment on it. Okay. And you can see I set it up the other way to work like this. So it stamps in that one. So I recommend you go ahead and get all of yours out so you don't get ink on them, and that's from experience, but this one got all bent up, but we're going to hope that it works. Now I want this to be more on the right hand side because we're going to put a flower right here. So when I get my label out, I've got all kinds of cards over here now. Okay, so since we want it more on the right hand side, I'm going to move it down just a hair. Well, that's more than a hair, but let's see about just kind of eye before inking it where that's going to stamp. It's a little too far. Okay, that's much better. So let's get our our Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And stamp that. Okay, that looks good. Okay, now I want to trim this down to where it only goes to the end of this, but the white still, that shows, the flag shows. So if I get my ruler out, that is right at 3/8 of an inch. I'm just going to do that to the side. You don't need to see me get my trimmer out, I don't think. All right, let's see if we like that. I'm going to do just a hair more. Okay, so that it goes like that. So I'm going to adhere that down with Tombow multi-purpose glue. Just somewhere down here on the bottom. Okay, let me get rid of the stamparatus here a second. Clean that off. I already got ink on the back of one of my cards, so I'll just have to put it on a new card base. All right, so we're almost done. Now we just have the flower. Now again, we use Memento ink. So I'm going to use my blends to color him in. I have a light old olive here. I think my dark is dry, so we'll just have to go with one tone of old olive. Okay, and then just the center. Let me get a yellow blend out. This is dark Daffodil Delight, so it's going to have a dark center, which is fine. Oh, that tip is terrible. Okay, and I'm going to leave this flower white, just like we did the other one, because these flowers are white. So when we go to put this on, I'm going to put the flower right here. So we need a little dimensional on the flower and the leaf. So this is where you would have to cut one in half. Make sure I get it on the right side. Same thing with the leaf. Doing pretty good on time. Okay, just like that. So you can go in with some embellishments. We did receive some in the kit, but here are some more of my favorites. They are called the Iridescent Pearls Basic Jewels. And I don't know if it's going to show really well for you, but they are iridescent, so they pick up light and reflect different colors. So I'm going to put one. I should use my Take Your Pick tool. There. Put a little one there. And another one. Where should we put this one? Down here? Maybe halfway on the label? No. Okay, just 3 random jewels on the card to give it a little bling. So this is my second card. By the way, if you are interested, in my first unboxing, I shared a lot of new product that we received. I received it on stage, showing the new in colors. So you might want to go check out that video. Also, I need to bring out the next quarter of Paper Pumpkin. So next 3 months, April, May, and June. We have a little preview here. So in April, it's called Delicate Wings, and it is a card kit, and it looks very pretty. May has some coordinating paper that will be in a new catalog, and I actually received that from the Prize Patrol, and I showed that in my last video. In June, it's in black and white here because they are going to include some new in colors. And like I said, I did a show of those in my last video. Don't want to take your time today. And don't forget the add-on dies. Item number 164397 can help expand your kit even more. So I do have an online store, and the link is right there. So if you find any products that you would like to add to your stash, be sure and check that out. There's also information about the discontinued list on my store. So you want to check that out as well. Some of my favorites are leaving, and I'm a little sad. Let me get out these, and then I'll switch back to me since I can do that. So here are our cards, and like I said, you can make 2 each of each design using just one card base. So if you like this design, you can use it with all 3. I'm going to hold off and see if I come out with even a second alternative. So let me get back to me for just a second. So thanks for joining me today. Again, if you have found any inspiration with these cards, feel free to case. Just give me credit if you share. And also, if you like this video, the best compliment you can give to me is a thumbs up, and share with your friends, and also be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So until my next video, I hope you have a good crafting day, and your kit has hopefully come, and you can start making these alternatives. So thanks for joining me today. Until my next video, bye-bye.